So if you can just introduce yourself and tell the club about you.
Okay.
And then, like I said, talk about the COVID grant or whatever you'd like to do.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Rotary Club President, past district governors, and all of you in your various grades and capacities. I am Rotary Sonny Akuopha of the Rotary Club of Bamako West. I've been old in Rotary. I've been a Rotary actor since 1983, and before becoming a Rotarian, I've traveled so many places, conventions, and visited your district and your city, St. Louis, and many of your club members have been able to share fellowship with them at home and in club and Rotary activities. I'm a district governor nominee for 2022-23 Rotary year. I'm very glad to be with you and to thank you especially for all the sort of assistances you are giving to my club and to our district in times past, in talking about the Juliba water project that was done some 40 kilometers away from Bamako here. There was another club water project not far away also from Bamako project that your clubs and district also helped to do. And now, coming to COVID, we have been able to get the funds that people helped to put together to using PDG Dave as a contact person to make the grant possible. And our district, as you know, has special challenges. It's a 10-country district. It used to be formerly 14 countries, but now we have, since 2013, we have 10 countries in one district. So the funds that we received, about $70,000 US, were allocated $7 each to each of these countries to buy kits, water kits to wash hands and sanitize the hands, and to buy face masks also to cover noses and mouths from the public, and also to make a television and media spots to sensitize the population about COVID and how to prevent oneself. As you all know, at this moment, there are no vaccines, so we are not participating about vaccinations. And also about treatment, we are not also, because in this part of the world, like you have in US or other developed countries, we don't have ventilators. In this country, Mali, here where I am, there's no single ventilator that is available here. And thank God that we didn't go up to that extent. What we have been able to do is to be able to prevent people, make campaigns for people to be able to wash their hands and to protect their nose and mouth from infection. And as at now, we have about 2,000 cases with about 70 people dead from COVID here in Mali. Other countries of our district have similar results. You know, so I want to, in fact, what I want to say is actually to say a big thank you to all of you for your help now, and you have done as you have done before in times past. Thank you very much. Nice to be with you. David,
I've got everybody else muted, so if you have questions or something, you're going to have to unmute yourself. But Sonny, we had our board meeting yesterday, and our foundation chair Bob is on the call. We have always been a very strong giver to the foundation. Our club has. One of the things that I don't think that the club sees is just what briefly you explained, and that is the money that we donate. Where does it go and how does it get used? I mean, you're talking about a district with 10 countries in it, and the coordination that's required to pull all of that together to do this project and to make it work. I mean, I know because I read the application you put together, of course, but there's a lot of work that goes into that. When people ask for funding, when we ask to give to the foundation, this is part of where it goes to. If it weren't for this, what do you think if you did not get this grant, what do you think, how would it have negatively impact your district if you didn't have this money to do what you were doing?
Oh yeah, you know, our district is in West Africa, and in West Africa you have the Sahel region where you have the Sahara Desert. Our districts, all 10 countries are around the Sahara Desert, and the livelihoods in these countries are very poor. People are very poor. That means that's why Rotary activities are not so much without help from people in Europe or in America. Our district, like I've said, the clubs are always available in the capital cities. It's hard for you to get clubs outside the capital cities. So the few clubs we have in our district are only in the capital cities, and so you have fewer members and fewer clubs. So we get these grants. We have the district that is run by a district governor and the foundation committee, and then you have assistant governors in each country. So funds like this that have come are sent to a bank account in one of these countries, all of these countries, each of them, and the assistant governors call the presidents, club presidents that are in those countries to come together to form a committee of implementation of the grants. That's how it is done. So here, getting to pay dues, many clubs from on our side in our district always expect. Membership challenges are so much. So without the help we get from our side, it's always very difficult for us to continue with the Rotary activities. For this one in question, we are sharing, allocating, let's say, $7,000 to each of these countries, 10 countries. That makes up the $70,000. And so there's a committee that is made up of the assistant governors and the club presidents. And then with our club project shares, they work together, get the necessary quotations from suppliers, and then they arrange, with the local authorities, and then they go out about the implementation of the club project, of this district project. So sometimes we have district involved, sometimes it's the club direct. What we did before was through the clubs, but this time, because it's 10 countries, it's through the district that this is done. So it's I can't say it's immeasurable. To get help from overseas is always very. We can't do without this. Without people from outside, we can't do anything. That's what I like to add to this at this point.
And
any further questions?
$70,000 to you all.
Yes.
Compared to what we would spend $70,000 on here is just it. You can buy a lot more for that. The phrase we use is you get a lot bigger bang for the buck with 70,000 there than what we can do with 70,000 here. How many people do you think this is going to help in the long run?
We have a lot of people to help with, like the masks, the face masks we have. We have in each country they are going to print about 10,000 people in each country will benefit directly from this. But when you talk about media campaigns, it's going to benefit more people.
Does anybody else? Oh, one thing. What about, and I know you and I have talked about it, Sonny, the SOAP project you were talking about, it's almost like a microcredit.
Yes.
Could you explain that a little bit?
It's to empower women here. There are the jobs here. Let me say, in this country specifically, 47% of the people here are poor. 47% of the people in this country, Mali, where I live here, can't get $300 in a year as revenue. And the women too, fall mostly into this category. Do you understand?
Yep, $200 a year is
$300 a year.
That's their income for the year.
Yeah, for 47% of the people in this country.
47%. Wow.
Yeah. So that tells you how people are poor in this country. So, and then women make the bulk of all those. So these projects of soap making are all tended towards women, because the women suffer a lot. They suffer a lot in being able to help to cater for their families, help to do a little bit of trades, little bit of commerce that is not up to $100, for the materials they have to live. It's very poor. You can imagine that, a capital of $100, it's very poor. But soap production, we think, can generate a lot, much revenue for the people, the women, to carry out and be able to help their families, send their children to school, through the revenues, the little gains they will make to send their children to public schools.
Now, do they charge for public schools there, or is public school free?
It's free, but it's almost worthless. Sorry to say, it's
Okay.
almost worthless because they don't provide anything. It's very poor. But at least they have teachers who come to teach. That is what they can do. So if there are exercise books, pencils, books to buy, through those little revenues, the women are able to supply to their children who attend such schools. If not, it's almost worthless.
So does anybody have any questions for Sonny? I know we got a couple of, actually 3 different educators in the our former educators in the club. And we were just talking about with schools here going back and what it's going to look like given COVID and everything like that. It's a different world than what we were in just 6 months to a year ago. And when you and I, well, we visited a year ago in Hamburg, and none of us, I think, could have thought of this occurring. By the same token, I couldn't have had you as a guest of the club at this point because you wouldn't have been over here. But anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Dave.
Go ahead.
And maybe I missed this, but how has the virus affected or impacted life in Mali?
Initially, from the month of March, nobody believed that we're going to have anything like that here. We had to believe that the country here, in spite of the poverty, the weather here is so hot. It goes to about 37 degrees to 40, 45 degrees centigrade. We thought we're not going to have anything like COVID. So up till March, we didn't. When everybody took it for granted that nothing was going to happen. But when the first cases started to happen in the late March, then everybody became so scared. So that was when the measures came into activities, into force. There were curfews, there were restrictions about going to work and how to move in public. These were all carried out late March. So it's only from late March that we actually knew that it was very dangerous phenomenon that we're going to live with. And people came from France before France was locked up. People came from France, and then there was a what's it called, a shutdown of the airports and everything, and we started experiencing a lot of deaths. But as at the moment, the result here is also disastrous because every life matters. But we have about 70 people dead from COVID, and we have about 2,000 cases that are still raging on, and we have some people that have been cured. I don't know how. They got cured. I don't know how, but they said they have been cured. What we read from the media, they have been cured, and that's what we have as at the moment. So the actions are still on. People are still being informed, and preventive measures are still taking place every day. But so far, what I can say is that we had about 2,000 people infected and about 7 people dead, which is so bad.
I know, Todd, you just joined us.
Yeah.
Nice to have you with us too.
Hello,
Anybody else
Sonny.
have any questions?
So it sounds, so your airports are closed, so you're not receiving flights from other countries now. What about your borders? Are your borders closed?
The borders were reopened on reopened on the 1st of July, and the airports will be reopened from the 15th of July for local flights. But for international flights, we shall be opened from the 1st of August.
Comment ça va, Sonny?
Oui, ça va, comment ça va? Ça va bien, merci.
It's been a long time. I don't want to start my video because I'm driving and everybody will scream at me.
Yeah.
But this is Todd Lindley, and we have
Todd, how are you?
worked on a few grants over the years.
Yeah.
How is that little village doing that got the solar panels and the water pump? Is that still going well?
They're all still going well. Everything is still intact. Everything is still going on very, very fine.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
How is Gaston Kaba?
Yes, he's retired from Rotary activities by now, but I'm still in contact with him. We contact from time to time.
Well, tell him hello from Todd.
Yeah, I will surely do. I will surely do. I will surely do.
Any other questions or comments or anything that you've got for Sonny? Now's your chance.
Honey, I'm one of the retired educators that Dave was talking about. Could you describe what a classroom looks like in general?
Oh, sorry. Well, I have to say that, but it's nothing to write home about. The classrooms barely have desks or table for teachers to sit on. It's paltry. Maybe I may make a photograph of that and show to and send to Dave to send to you. The classrooms are like I hate to say, but I have to say it's truth that it's worthless. It's worthless and hopeless, in some instances, because if those whose parents can't support, those whose parents can't support them have it very difficult. They don't have the reader, the schools that are recommended by teachers to buy. They can't buy them. They can't afford them. They can't copybooks. They can't have. They just come and spend maybe some few hours in a day in school and then they go back. That is what happens in the schools here. But then they still manage to cope up some
Now,
up for private lessons through which their parents can afford. Some teachers now resort to going to homes to teach children, so that they're able to catch up with the schoolwork. If not, it's difficult. Relying on the public system is hopeless. You understand?
Are there a system of private schools that some children go to then?
Yes, there are some few people who can afford private schools at any level. Those that don't have some private schools, the teachers coming to homes to teach the students, or some little private schools that are organized in the evenings after normal school hours. The students can, if their parents can afford, they go back to the school premises and be able to follow up with some schoolwork. It's very poor. It's very poor school system.
How is the school system supported? Here all of us pay a huge portion of what they call the property tax on our home or on the car. That goes to the school district on a percentage of. How is it paid for there?
Oh, here is disastrous. I want to say once more, I'm sorry to say that it's disastrous. I want to tell you that for the past 9 months, the teachers have not received their salaries.
Oh.
Teachers have not received their salaries for the past 9 months.
Oh,
you have seen recently public strikes. Next tomorrow, Friday, there will be another march, public march, to protest against this sort of treatment. The president said, he was going to do this or that, but then nothing was done. And, they say, there are structural adjustments, all kind of problems, social problems, and they haven't paid. Teachers have no salaries. So if they don't have salaries, how are they going to teach?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
For the past 9 months, they don't have a salary. So how does it come to teach? What is he going to teach? You understand?
Oh my.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
9 months. For the past 9 months, no teachers have salaries.
So they're all paid from the federal government when they do get paid.
Yes, they get paid by the federal government. But that has not been done for the past 9 months. They don't have any salary.
This is throughout the country, not just Bamako?
Throughout the country.
Wow.
For those in Bamako, they have some a little, they are able to teach privately to be able to make life and to be able to make life, to get the basic needs of life. But not all. Those who are in Bamako can have the access to teach some private schools or private lessons for students to be able to get little money to feed their families. If not, the life is going to be so hard if they don't do so.
So I think we could generalize and make a general statement that any help that could be sent with grants or anything like that, Tom, probably would be a good idea, right?
Yes.
Tom.
Tom. Hello, Tom.
I say that
Hello,
because Tom is.
I'm always on in the Facebook now. I'm seeing you again, Tom. How are you?
I know I'm going to pay for that comment later from Tom, and I say it somewhat tongue in cheek, but I say it seriously at the same time that we do forget about, in the midst of all of our griping, we do forget about just how good things are here that are not the same around the rest of the world. And hearing you explain this, I know I'm not wild when my bill comes in to pay the taxes at the end of the year. I really don't like doing that. But compared to, I know I'm supporting the school district we live in. I'm supporting the library district, all of this stuff that other people don't have that opportunity to do, or opportunity to have. And that makes a difference too.
Yeah.
So anything? Yes, Ann, go ahead.
Sonny, would you talk about your personal life? Like, how were you educated? What have you been doing as far as a profession?
Yeah. Me, thank God I've had a good education. I've passed through normal high school to college. I did electrical engineering, and I'm specialized in solar or wind power. I worked before for the World Bank funded projects for a long time, and since 2003, I went on my own. I have my own company that studies and installs solar projects, wind energy projects, and some biomass projects too. So I also do infrared. I do infrared inspection for preventive maintenance. So I schooled in the UK, and I schooled in Holland also. So I'm one of those, I can say, one of those fortunate few, not so much people like me. We are few that are fortunate, and that's why I'm able to become a Rotarian, to be able to think about helping other people. That's why I'm a Rotarian, because I started, like I said, as a Rotary actor way back in university, and I didn't stop. I continued and became a Rotarian, and I'm still on into Rotary. So I've done about 37 years of Rotary now. So if you would have asked me to talk for 37 hours, I would have been glad to talk to you for 37 hours about Rotary and all the problems. But we don't have 37 hours to you to talk about all this. So we're doing this so brief, and that's me. So you can't be, when you have a Rotary heart, Rotary's in the heart. I can't say I'm okay, and then other people will see suffering and will not put it forward for other people to see. I am just one person, and I have my family, and we have extended families here in Africa and here in Mali. If you are one person that is able to do anything, then you have so many people in the families, your immediate family, your wife and children, and you have all families, coming to you for all kind of problems. But then, in spite of all those, we are still able to manage to think about Rotary, think about other people, and do good and serve above yourself. That is me.
Any other comments? Any questions? Anything else you'd like to end with, Sonny?
No, it's to continue to appeal, because we still have so many water challenges, because here is not a country like Cambodia or South Asian countries where you have surface waters, where you can solve water problems by using a clean water filters to make the water pure for people to drink. Here is a hard country. It's in the Sahara Desert. You have a lot of rocks here. So to get water to drink, you have to drill about 90 meters, 120 meters down. In this city where I live, Bamako, capital city of Mali, only 20% of the people have access to electricity and water. Only 20% of the people in this city, Bamako, the capital city of Mali, 3 million people, only 20% of them have access to electricity and to water. And now, if you talk about the villages, once you get out of Bamako, then it's terrible. It's terrible how people live, how people get water, how people get electricity. It doesn't exist. That is why the project of Joliba that your club, Overland Club, did last time is still there. It's still there, working fine. And the other one of the club in Seattle, a club in Seattle, through Dave in your district, helped to do the grant too. It's about 15 kilometers from here. The project is still working fine. All projects we have done here are all working fine. There's one, the club in Ohio. Ohio did the other time. The three they're all working fine, and there's still much more. But we can't. There are no means. So only those that are able to contact us, we're able to reach out to you. Those we know to help. We still have about 1 or 2 or 3 more water projects that people have applied to help and we have been able to do anything. And then there's the women also that we talked about to Dave also. That also is remaining for us to do. So any little help you can always give, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are here, and not too much, but at least a little, 1 or 2 more, 3 more projects for us this year and next year will be so fine. Will be so fine for us.
Sonny, I think just having you with us has been well. First of all, from Mary and I, and Todd, I'll say, because we know you personally, it is very nice to see you again. I realize that we're not in person, but this is the best we can do. But I think you've opened up our eyes too, also to. We are so blessed here that other places don't have. 20% of 3 million people have water and electricity. I mean, that would be there would be riots in the street if that was the case here. I mean, we get mad when we lose power because of a storm for a few hours. So I understand. I thank you greatly. Todd, did you have something else, or are you?
Well, I wondered, of those people in Bamako that have water, do they each have their own well, or is there some sort of central system in the city?
Yes, there's a central system in the city, but has very little capacity.
Okay.
The city center has very little capacity, so you cannot take everybody in the city. It was meant for just that number. It was done by just that number of people, about 600 or 1 million people. But now the population here is 3 million, and you see, have only 20% of people having access to it. And that's the capital city. I'm talking about the capital city, not elsewhere. Yeah.
Do many people then have their own personal wells at their house?
They can't afford it. Those who can have wells. The wells they have are shallow wells that are not not hygienic, not hygienic, not hygienic. Yeah. But then some drink it, and so that's why you have about so many diseases. Mortality rate is very high because of such people drinking bad water. So mortality rate is very high for hydric diseases that come because of bad water.
Oh,
yep.
I'd sure like to send you one of our leaders to just to get him out of America, but you have your own problems.
Now, let's just.
I know. Rotary is non-political.
Well, so I've been told, but never mind. We'll just stop there too. Yeah. No, Sonny, I appreciate it personally. I thank you. Please.
Oh, thank you very much.
We will stay. You know that we'll stay in touch.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very informative.
Anybody have any final comments?
Bon chance.
Take care. Thank you all.
Bye, Sonny.
Bye, Sonny. We'll see you later.
Okay, Marie. Say me where to Marie and to Stacy.
Yes.
We will.
We will. We certainly
Take
will.
care.
Okay, Tom.